Good morning, everyone.
Hello, happy Saturday or Sunday.
Happy Saturday, or good
morning,
afternoon, or good
everyone.
evening, or good tomorrow morning, because I think in some parts of New Zealand, Australia, it is now officially Sunday morning. So,
Yes.
Hola.
yes. Hola.
Hola a todos. Buenos días.
Yeah, so welcome, everyone. As you can see, we have a super full house today, which is so exciting. Excellent. So welcome, Ravonda, Jelaine, and Kathy for joining us. And good day from Southeast Queensland. There we go. Look at all these people saying hello. So let me just say hello back to Judy. Judy wins the prize for being the first one in with her cup of tea. Followed shortly, just moments later, by Melanie joining her. Talking about how late it is. The sun is, it's hours before the sun is up again for Melanie, of course, because it's past midnight, I believe, where she is. And so who else do we have here? Scroll. I see we have Ann Fiordalisi, of course, has joined us. Hi there, Ann. Murray Maloney from
Hey,
Murray. What are you doing there? And Rick Cleland also is joining us. Tia is online as well. And Dee, good to see you, Dee. Anna C. Matthews, good morning, everyone. Hello. Hi there, Doris. Doris Lanier. And Chris Ferriolo, buongiorno, how are you doing? Susie Carta. Hello, Susie from sunny Minnesota. And T. Boye is here. Terry Burks as well. And Robert Cowan from Sunny Pool in Dorset. I feel I must have missed lots of people. Tamara is here from Cleveland. Anyways, who else anyways, hello to everyone. And I apologize for those if I've missed, because I've been I scroll through fairly quickly. And hello to everyone who, of course, watches after the fact. So welcome to our Saturday Roundup. And without further ado, I will pass it on to Denise to introduce her friends.
Well, hello, everyone. Hola.
Hola.
So glad to have with me. I have two guests today because our special topic is the Native American Project. And so we've got Jelaine Smith, who I love and have worked with quite often through the U.S. Black Heritage Project, and also Kathy Forbes. Kathy, you're a project coordinator, correct?
Yes, that's
so
correct.
you get an opportunity to give us a different view, a coordinator's view, when you're working on a project. That's going to be appreciated. Usually we have the leaders and they're all about, this is a great project, yada yada yada. But we're going to go ahead and get started with Jelaine. I've got to cracking up now. We're going to go ahead and get started with Jelaine and Kathy, and tell us about the Native American Project and how this got started.
Sure. Well, it's been around quite a while. I actually went looking for the history and didn't immediately find it. But I got involved in it when I was working on the Puritan Great Migration Project, because there was a claim that one of the Puritan Great Migration settlers married an Indian princess. And I got into researching that to find out, well, what? And it was through that I met Kathy and Jeannie Roberts, who's a former project coordinator from way back. And I just got sucked into both the excitement and kind of the drama, frankly, of researching controversial relationships. And really, my focus has been on the evidence. I am not Native American. I don't have any Native American ancestry, but I love evidence analysis. And but I rely on Kathy, who does have Native ancestry, for more of the specifics on tribal research. So I got involved, I don't know, many years ago now, and as Kathy very well knows, WikiTree it abounds with the contrast between oral tradition, or tradition might even be too strong of a word, right, Kathy? Oral family histories where there are claims of Native ancestry that more times than not, unfortunately, when you actually research it, don't hold up very well. That said, the Native Americans Project is much more than that. We have a relatively new project leader, Robert Teague, who unfortunately couldn't join us because he's on the West Coast and might still be sleeping. And he's been bringing expansion into other areas of the Native American genealogy in other parts of the country. Out in the West, he's got a new project, team focused on Native Americans in California. And I'll have more to say about some of the other stuff that Robert is stewarding. So we've got 41 badged members. We're kind of a small but mighty group, and we are always looking for other folks to join us, whether it's on the project generally, or if there is a specific area that you really like to research, please reach out to us.
Yeah, thank you. Yeah, I mean, the Trail of Tears is one of the stories I've heard about a lot. And just like you said, in my oral history, we've heard that we're part Indian. I haven't found it yet. Still looking. My daughter took DNA test. We're less than 1%. So I'm not going to look very hard. But Kathy, tell me what it's like for you being a coordinator on this type of project.
Well, I don't know that I really coordinate a lot, but I think my focus from the beginning has been working to get accurate information out for the profiles that people have already created, and improving them. And I worked back at the beginning with Jelaine and to try to clear up, some of the mythical information. And we've been trying to get good. It's hard to get good resources out there. So I think people, and especially our new leader, have been focusing on trying to get good resources to help people know where to look. Because for most, it's something like 1 in 6 people in America thinks they have a Native American ancestor, and clearly that's not the case. But people don't know where to look either. So that I think is something that we're trying to work on to improve. And I agree. I'm a Cherokee citizen, so anybody who joins WikiTree and puts Cherokee as one of their tags, I greet them and let them know where our resources are. And I think some of the other team members who are citizens of other nations are doing something similar. At least they're getting in touch with people to let them know that there is somebody out there that's willing to give them a little hand if that's what they need.
Awesome. And already we have a question from the audience. Does your records and profile also cover the freedmen of the 5 civilized tribes?
Sure. I can't speak for the people from the other tribes, but at least on the Cherokee pages, we actually have a resource page for searching for a freedman ancestor. So we've tried to put something together there. But yes, that's absolutely, the freedmen are citizens of our tribes, and just like anybody else, we will help you research them.
Awesome. And only 41 members. I do believe I saw a recent post on G2G for the Native American Project. Is that right? Or is it just a challenge? Yeah.
Well, there is a standing join post on G2G, and that's linked to from the project page for how to join. But Robert, has started a new challenge, I guess, about the Apache prisoners of war in the 1913 census at Fort Sill. So one of the, you said this is sort of a behind the scenes things. One of the things that I am really appreciating is when you have new membership and leadership, it often reinvigorates a project, and Bob is really doing some nice things with that. He wants to set a series of challenges between now and November, which I believe is National Native American Heritage Month. Mm-hmm. And so the first thing he's done is create a new challenge, I'm putting it in quotes because it's different from a lot of the other kinds of challenges that WikiTree has. But it is focused on building out profiles of Apache prisoners of war from the 1913 Fort Sill census.
That ought to be interesting. Yeah.
And we had somebody last year who took on, there was a mental institution that was instituted for Native Americans from all over the country. And this gentleman took it on himself to build profiles for the I think maybe 300 people who had been incarcerated there, for lack of a better word.
Right.
And so he worked very hard to add those people and get them properly identified and documented. So there are things like that out there that people, somebody suggested, and it might end up being, again, one of these challenges working with the boarding schools, which is, of course, a hot topic both in the United States and in Canada.
Yeah, and that's on Bob's list for doing next is there was a 1911 Carlisle Indian School census, and he wants to work on that next with other folks, whether you're a member of the project or not. And what else did I want to say about that? Yeah, we really like to encourage people to work on things that they're passionate about. For example, Delbra Brown is working at the intersection of U.S. Black Heritage and the Native Americans Project. She's working on Choctaw in Alabama, which has some overlap with African Americans in Alabama.
Yeah.
So I think there's lots of opportunity for crossover, and again, we really want to encourage people to work on what they're most passionate about. There's a little caveat there. Some people are really passionate about claiming descent from non-existent Native American princesses, but so we have that challenge.
What, you mean Pocahontas? I could not possibly be related to Pocahontas. Is that what you're saying?
Yeah, through
one of her many fictional siblings.
She does have some legendary offspring that have not been proven.
Yeah, Kathy, I think I heard you mention Canada. Are there Native Americans in Canada as well? Were there tribes up in Canada?
Oh, many, many, many. They use the term First Nations up there. And many, well, obviously there was no border. So there are a lot of tribes that still exist that are actually cross-border all along from Maine all the way out to the West Coast. So that can be kind of a challenge because now so that their standards are a little bit different, I think, for how things are categorized in Canada. But yes, there are hundreds. There are currently, I think, 580 recognized tribes or nations in the United States, and I think there's an equal number in Canada.
Well, and just also to add additional clarification, the Canada Project has a First Peoples or First Nations project that's kind of parallel to the Native Americans Project. The Native Americans Project focuses on what is currently within the boundaries of what is now the United States. And the other project focuses on north of the border, the Canadian-U.S. border. And in large part, we've dealt with this over the years, like, should there be one project? Should we combine? But the research is very different. And so the folks in Canada are far more familiar with the research resources than we are down here. And so it just made sense. And we do collaborate when there's cross-border tribes, which there are, because those borders didn't exist.
That's right.
When the Native Americans, when the indigenous people of this continent, roamed.
Well, thank you, ladies. I truly appreciate both of you coming on board. Robert, I'm going to give you a hard time because we do have a guest here from California. So you really
Yeah,
wanted to.
I'm sure probably watching later.
I'm gonna give Robert a hard time. Yeah, but thank you all for coming. This is a great topic, and again, this is a project that really, really needs your support and your help. So anywhere across the country you can be to assist the Native American Project. Thank you, ladies, and you have a happy Mother's Day.
Thank you.
Oh, thank you. Nice to see you all. Bye.
Good to see you too. Yeah. I do want to thank you very much. Murray mentioned in the chat that Robert Teague is also a member of the First Nations Canada Project.
Oh, good.
Yeah,
Good.
and Murray's also been involved with that as well.
Yeah, don't tell him I was teasing him, Murray, please.
Yeah, that's right. I've a little addendum to that. I just received in the mail this week the 2026 Canadian census. So I got to fill out the Canadian census.
How about that?
Yeah. And it was actually a little longer than I expected. It took a little bit more work because they actually asked a lot of in-depth questions. So as a genealogist, I really appreciated that.
Yes.
But as someone who was running against time delay, I thought, oh no, this is taking longer than I expected. But the interesting thing of note is that there is a section in there where it asks where your parents' ancestry is from and whatnot, and then there is one that asks if you are a First Nations descent, and then there is another, but there's a specific question that asks about whether you are a registered Indian, and they actually use the term Indian, which is not a term that we use very often, but they in the instructions said specifically, because one of our laws, which has been in place forever, is the Indian Act. It's actually called the Indian Act. And so it said the instructions were as defined by the Indian Act. And it was the language was very clear that they're using the word Indian because it's a legal term that's been been established or whatever. And then the very next question, when it refers to ancestry, it goes back to using First Nations. So
okay.
Yeah, so I found that very interesting that they had to use both terms, the one the precise legal term for this one thing, like whether you're a registered Indian, like a card carrying member of a specific tribe, and it asked you which nation you were part of and stuff. So
okay.
Anyways, interesting that I encountered that just in my day-to-day, and then it fits perfectly with the behind the branches. So
and your descendants will get to see the results of that, because
I know
it won't be available for eons.
Well, yeah, in Canada, unfortunately, it's a 92-year rule, and so I'm thinking,
wow,
I don't think I will get to see the release of these results. No matter how optimistic I am about my
Wow.
Yeah.
All right. So are we going on to
Vicky?
Rivonda. Yes, we have to say hi to Rivonda. She's usually in the chat. She's a usual viewer of us. So now we get to finally meet her in person. Well, in person. On screen. Right, Rivonda? Welcome. How are you feeling today, being on screen with us?
It's different.
Well, I hope you have fun, and congrats for being our member of the week. Yay! And I'm surprised that you're a short time user of WikiTree. I thought you were here longer.
Well, I'm surprised I'm a member of the week, being such a short timer.
Right. Yeah, you've been on WikiTree a year and a half or so.
Right.
Yeah, but I guess we have all seen you everywhere. So you're a familiar name. So you know how it goes. The first question would be, how did you get interested in genealogy? What brings you here?
Well, I feel like I've always been interested in genealogy, and it started way back with my grandmother, my maternal grandmother. And I would just sit there and she'd talk about family, and she knew the extended family very well. She would sit there and discuss the family, and I took notes, and I'm still trying to figure out my notes from where she discussed them, and I can't trace down these people yet, some of them.
But that was the right goal. I mean, if you had just heard to what she was saying, you wouldn't be able to trace that, that in your head.
Oh yeah, she knew everybody in the county.
Wow, you're so lucky.
Yeah. I was very lucky, and everybody knew her. So
wow, I bet, yeah, her mind must have been a treasure, all those memories.
Yes.
And you're lucky to get to share them with her.
Yes. And I really wish now I could go, who were you talking about on this? So
yeah, well, now that we all have cell phones, it's a good idea to record those conversations.
Well, when I was in college, we didn't have cell phones.
Yeah, I bet you didn't. Yeah, but now we have more options, right? Or video. Yeah,
yes,
that would also be a great idea. Well, Rayvonda, tell us about your involvement in projects. You're in the Tennessee project and a data doctor. So tell us about that.
Well, my career was in IT, and I felt that when I first started, I felt that I could help. I love helping people, and so I said, well, I can help people by using my technical skills. And so I said, data doctors is where I should try to get in. And so I started out with data doctors is my first project. And so I could read manuals, I figured. That was what I always did as a technical skill. And so I can read those manuals, and I would read the manual and I would try to figure it out. And I figured that WikiTree was just another software, and I could read the manual and figure it out. And I could ask G to G how, I'm stumped on this profile, and I could figure it out. And that's exactly what I did. I found where the help was for data doctors, and I read it and just did lots. I did lots of easy data doctors, headings and templates and very simple data doctor issues. Then I built up in complexity, and I did that, and I started. My family's from Tennessee. My mother, my grandparents, everybody, the extended family is in Tennessee. In fact, back pre-Civil War, they were from the same area in Tennessee. So I decided to join the Tennessee Project. And that's, in order to be involved with the Tennessee Project, I went, I'll be involved with the cemeteries. And so that's how I got involved with the cemetery categories. I learned how to do those. And then I combined the two. So if I'm adding a cemetery category, I'm adding the people. And I looked at the profiles, and I call it nursing instead of doctoring. I would nurse. I would see, there's a heading that needs to be fixed. Oh, there's this that needs to be fixed. I would add the references tag. I would add do this minor data doctoring on those profiles as I'm adding the cemetery categories and the profiles. And so that's how I would fix. And that's part of the Tennessee project as well. So it was combining 2 Tennessee projects into one for me.
Yeah, it's only natural for you.
It was natural. And then, so I started with West Tennessee, which is where my family was from, adding the cemetery categories. And so I did all of West Tennessee, and I went, okay, those are done. So now I've continued on with the rest of Tennessee. There's 95 counties in Tennessee, and I've done 70 counties so far, adding the categories for those. When looking at the missing categories or missing cemeteries on the cemetery report, I've added for 70 counties so far. So I've got 25 to go to finish Tennessee.
Wow. We can see why you're the member of the week.
A lot of work.
You've given so much. Yeah. Yes.
Well, it keeps me off the streets.
Come on. So this is the perfect place to be for you.
Yes.
Yeah. And you also mentioned or you encouraged people in your interview to join the 18 for 18 mission.
I feel like after people get their feet wet, start knowing a little bit about WikiTree, to join the 18 for 18. Because it doesn't rein you in on what time to do this or what time to do that. You can guide yourself on what missions to do.
Yeah.
And you also, I've learned several things that, for example, I would have never, I'm not going to say never, but I would have not gotten so involved with the unknowns. Those are so much fun, solving the unknowns to me. And that's what I do for fun now, is solving unknowns, because, and then I give life to somebody. I didn't realize the one thing when doing unknowns is you end up getting merges. So, you solve the unknown, you end up with that name, and then all of a sudden, you've got a merge to do. And it's just, okay, good. That means that, I've got the right person with the right name, and now we're going on. We're helping a family.
Yes, and it's so satisfying.
It's great,
Yeah. And I agree with you about the 18 for 18, because it gives you a complete scope of what you can do on WikiTree, and you can choose according to your level of difficulty what you feel more comfortable. If you're an advanced user, you have options too. If you're a newt, you also can choose and learn.
Right.
And you have a whole year to do that.
Right. So it's on your time schedule.
Yeah. Yes, exactly.
You're not told when to do what. It's on totally on your time schedule and your skill level. But I know I've asked Amanda and Darren a lot of little questions, and they're free to answer those little questions all the time.
Yes. They're amazing. Yeah.
Yes. So
yes. That is a hard one to manage. There's so much to check when you complete your missions. So yes, that's a huge ton of work. Rivonda, I would like to close your interview with something that you said that I really loved. And you said, please explain. You said WikiTree is the people. What did you mean with that? Because that was perfect.
I think most people look at WikiTree as genealogy. Mm-hmm. And I have not found it. Well, it started as genealogy, as a, place to put my genealogy sources and things. But it's more that I found it's the people that I have met and have made relationships with. And if you read the story about the person that came alongside me in November. So when number one, I'm a newt, but I'm also a beginning data doctor, and she came alongside me in November, answered a question, and we're still friends. Mm-hmm. And we communicate almost every day. Mm-hmm. It's the Betsy Coe who came alongside me as a newt in the Sourceathon, and Dave Draper, who was assisting. I still communicate with them. And it's the, how do, Dave sat there and showed me how to put the census record together to make it show up properly in a profile. That's the level I was at. Mm-hmm.
Of course.
And I'm still communicating with them, and they come alongside. The WikiTreeers are there to help, and I've seen that time and time again, that I don't know how to do something, and they say, here's 3 different ways if you mm-hmm. to do it, and they are there always to help. And I think it's more the people. My husband was in surgery, and one of the WikiTreeers found out about it, and she asked several times, how is he doing? I had a friend that found out that my dog had surgery, and he called up to ask, how is your dog doing?
Amazing.
That's not Ancestry.
Exactly.
That's WikiTree.
Yeah, you came here looking for software, and you found friends and a community.
Friends. Mm-hmm. Yes, my husband sits there and laughs about it. He says, all you do is sit at home. And I said, but I've got friends that I talk to worldwide. I've got friends all over the world that I'm talking to.
Exactly. Wow. That's great. That's great. Well, thank you so much for those words, Rivonda. I think we're all here for the friends, right? For the community and for the love for genealogy that we share. Yes. So thank you so much for all that you do on WikiTree, and congrats again for being our member of the week.
Yeah. Congratulations.
Thank you for the compliments. I'm just, I told my husband I'm 1 in a million, literally.
Yes.
Yes. I think we are.
We are. Very good. Yeah. Very good.
Mm-hmm. Well, I invite you to stay with us if you want for the whole livecast.
Okay.
If you have the time. Mm-hmm. Okay. So great. Then should we start talking about moms?
Sure.
Yeah, we have a very special video that Eowyn created.
Right.
Mother's Day. Mm-hmm. And so we're going to show it to you. It's so good.
Here we go.
Awesome.
Hey, that's
Very
great.
good.
Yeah.
Yes, perfect. Yeah, we invite you to share that on your social media.
Yeah, share it far and wide as you wish people a happy Mother's Day.
Yeah, good idea.
And that leads us nicely into our question of the week. Tell us about your mother.
Wow.
So, yeah. So we had 10 answers, which I was a little surprised. I thought there were going to be massive numbers, but in a way, it's really nice because I got to dive a little deeper with the 10 answers that are there. First one is from Chris Ferriolo.
Hey.
His mother was Diane Hamill, and she was a lab supervisor working at a medical lab in Andover, Massachusetts, where they would, process the samples and diagnose medical conditions. Very, very important work. Chris, if you don't know, Chris has a blog. All roads lead to Haverhill. And so I clicked and because he wrote this post about her in greater length, and I found this lovely picture of her. Yeah. Love her
Very
smile.
nice, Chris.
Yeah.
Good job.
Yeah. Thank you, Chris.
That's great.
Then we have Alexis Nelson. Her mother, Clarice, was, she graduated from Phillips University with a degree in chemistry. And if you're a regular watcher of the Roundup, you probably already know a lot of Alexis's story, but it's a really powerful one. Her parents met at university and got married in 1942. Of course, the war just disrupted everything for so many people, including Alexis's family. Her mother quit college, was helping to build bomber planes in a Boeing plant in Wichita. And then her father was tragically killed on a mission. 1945, and Alexis never got to meet him because her mother was just pregnant at the time. So her mother had planned to finish medical school and work as a missionary in the Third World, but with everything that happened with World War II, plans changed. So she raised Alexis and worked as a medical technologist in the Veterans Hospital in Oklahoma City until she sadly died from breast cancer in 1966. And Alexis says next month she will have been gone for 60 years, and she still misses her. Here's a photo where Alexis was her only child, and here she's 2.5. Very, very sweet photo.
Oh, that's lovely.
Yeah. Then our next respondent was Karen Packard. So her mother was Martha Reed, and I went over to people's mother's profile. So here's a picture of Martha on her wedding day. Yeah. I just love. I wonder what the 1937. Yeah, that's just a lovely style for her. Yeah. Well, this was a tough story to read. So Martha's father, her mother's father, was killed in a railroad accident in 1917, and apparently there were not good relationships between Martha's mother and her father's family. And what happened was the father's family took the children away from the mother. Yeah.
Wow.
So they were raised by members of her father's family. Karen actually talks about how her mother, who was one of the younger children, just really never understood what happened, and she felt abandoned, and that must have been so very difficult. She grew up in Florida. She was a member of a club, the Wallakas Club, which was named for a tribe of Native Americans that lived in the area of Pensacola. And they would do all kinds of social events. And there was one event where at the Officers Club in Pensacola, and her mother spied her father to be across the room and said, "That's the man I'm going to marry." And that was that. So Karen writes, "Mom was a salty Navy wife. Her chief was determination." Now her mother was widowed at 38. Her father, this is so sad. Her father died of a form of pneumonia that now today you could just take an antibiotic and be
so
fine.
young.
Yes. Yeah. So she too was, the cycle sort of continued with a single mother. But she had a different story of being very supported and loved by her in-laws. And so she raised her children, and her Karen's daughter were able to know their grandmama. Then we have Deborah Akins. Her mother was Carol Adams. And this was interesting. We have a lovely picture of Carol.
Wow.
Yes.
That's beautiful.
Yes. And she was a Foreign Service wife. And Deborah was saying of described all the expectations of a Foreign Service wife, and that she was required to help collect recipes, publish a cookbook, attend teas, give official parties, attend them. The list went on and on, all unpaid. And when she found a copy of her father's first assignment, it was written in there that he had a financial bonus because he had a wife. And yet she wasn't paid at all.
Yeah.
Oh, I know. He had 4 children, and of course, in Foreign Service, they were moving from country to country. So fortunately, she had some help around the house, and that there were some statistics about how difficult it was to be a Foreign Service wife. And Deborah said next time she went looking for it, that was all erased. But I love this. She says she was a true Georgia peach and could bless your heart faster and with more sincerity than a gunslinger could pull a gun. So she sounds like a lady with a great deal of talent and grace.
And she looked like a movie star.
Yes, also. Now, is Lisa in the house? Lisa?
Oh,
I hadn't seen her, but let me just scroll through here.
Yeah, I don't think I remember.
No, I haven't seen her.
Right. So Lisa wrote about her mother, Edna. Here's Edna Suave. I'm not sure if it's Suave or Suave. I love this.
Sauve. If it's French, which I think it is, it'd be Sauve.
Yeah. Yeah. She looks so happy in this picture with her kitty.
And the kitty. Yeah.
I think 1975 is the date of that. And she worked her way up. She came from a large family, and education for girls was just not a priority for the family. But Edna worked her way up eventually to the point where she became a fellow in underwriting commercial insurance. She met Lisa's father at a school outing. to Stratford to watch a Shakespeare play. And they had 5 children. Lisa was the youngest. Sadly, her father had a hereditary kidney disease. He did exceed the life expectancy predictions by 2 years more than predicted. And by the time Edna died at 88, a few years ago, from her 5 children, she had 13 grandchildren, 6 great-children, and 2 great-great-grandchildren with more to come.
Wow.
Yeah. Pretty special to have great-great-grandchildren. And,
That's incredible.
Yes. Yeah. Now, we have this in Italian, but it's actually so it's about well, first of all, the poster is Marina Zubrick, who has Ukrainian family. Her ancestry is Ukrainian, but she has been living in Italy for some time. So I ran it through Google Translate because my Italian is not that good. She writes, "The women on my mother's side hailed from a small Ukrainian village. All of them led difficult lives, yet despite everything, they possessed a supernatural tenacity. They are my greatest source of pride. Indeed, it is precisely thanks to this tenacity, which I inherited from them, that I never gave up and ultimately made a discovery that I believe to be of historical significance. I discovered that my great-grandmother's mother was the biological daughter of a royal couple, and she is now awaiting official confirmation." So that's intriguing. Good. I'm sure you can Marina.
Awesome.
Wow,
Yeah.
maravilloso.
Yeah. Let us know when you have the answer.
Please, yes, update us. Then Renzo, now I was able to go to his mother's, Renzo Fernando Herrera Moreno. I went to his mother's profile, and we have some beautiful pictures.
Nice.
Of Trina, his mother, Trina. Yeah. And he wrote, let's see, I have a note to myself, just read the post. Okay. She was the heart of my childhood, the one who shaped my earliest sense of love, care, and belonging. Through her, home was not just a place, but a feeling, warm, protective, and deeply human. Her life, though not as long as it should have been, led an enduring imprint on who I am. She nurtured with tenderness, guided with quiet strength, and created a world in which I could grow with security and joy. Losing her as I entered adolescence marked a profound turning point in my life, and yet her presence never truly left. It lives on in memory, in values, in gestures, and in the invisible threads that connect generations.
Beautiful.
In my family tree, she is not only a mother, she's a lasting source of light.
That's beautiful.
Wow.
Yes. Says it all.
Beautiful.
It does.
Yeah. Thank you so much, Renzo.
Yeah, Renzo must be a poet.
Yes. Yes, I think he's answered questions, and we've looked at his profile before. Then we have Beulah Kramer. Her mother was Pearl Elizabeth Jackson, and no photo, unfortunately, to share. But yes, she lived an extremely difficult life, very challenging family relationships, and poverty. So Beulah describes a lot of that, health challenges, and she said, at the end of it all, by the time we 4 grew up, Pearl had 4 children. She was babysitting children and making a living for herself. As an adult and having raised 2 children with the help of a loving husband and father, I admire the effort she had expended in raising 4 reliable, self-supporting citizens on so little. When things shift in a generation, sometimes we look back and we just are amazed at what those who came before us were able to do. Thank you, Beulah. Clifford Carter. Is that? Yes, here's Clifford. And his mother was Ethel Smith. There's Ethel.
Nice.
And Ethel passed in 1999. He said she was noble and committed. She never had any great accomplishments, never even learned to drive, but she raised 4 of us with an in-and-out father. And he talks about they're walking to the grocery store. I did take a look at her. Well, I looked at her profile as well. He mentions the A&P. I remember we had A&P too. Carrying it home in our arms, returning pop bottles and milk bottles to pay for our groceries. Just very tight circumstances. And he talks about how bologna, fried potatoes, and bread tasted like steak to us. She held the family together, and I'm so thankful. Thankful for her. He says, I know there's zillions of moms out there who also made similar sacrifices, but he just wants to say thank you and happy Mother's Day to all mothers. So thank you, Clifford. And our last answer is from Julia Bukowska. And she has some lovely photos throughout her answer. So there is, her mother was Wanda Janina, born 1954 in Warsaw, Poland. She writes, Julia says her parents both loved her tremendously, but there was also a lot of instability in the home. So it was a little bit of a roller coaster. Wanda attended horticultural college and was part of a drama society before she got married. And she also was a very talented seamstress, which was a skill that she used throughout her life. She had 4 children. Julie is the third. Let's see. Oh, there's another. This looks like a confirmation photo. Very sweet. There's the whole family. Wanda had her battles with substance abuse. But her biggest battle was at the end of her life. She was diagnosed with bowel cancer, and she did lose that battle, very, very sadly. But here's Wanda with her sewing machine and her cat. And Julia says, the story of my mom is the story of how trauma and a lack of emotional security can destroy a person. But it's also about how, even when the whole world seems to be against us, we can find the strength within ourselves to love.
Nice.
Very nice.
Lovely.
Those are great closing words for her story. Thank you so much, Julia.
Well, thanks for sharing those with us, Betsy.
Yeah, my pleasure.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. And thanks everyone who wrote and shared those stories.
Awesome moms.
Yes,
Awesome moms.
Yes, well, somebody mentioned that maybe talking about their moms is not that easy, and that's why maybe we don't have so many answers. Maybe, but the thing is, we have a lot of activities about Mother's Day and Mother's Month. So I'm finding the same thing about the profile makeover. I just have one answer, and I think that everyone is participating in different places. So they're all over. It's all about the moms.
Don't forget, you can celebrate any mother in your tree. It doesn't have to be your mother.
Yes.
Yeah, tackle that unknown.
Yeah.
That's right.
Who is she?
Yes.
Right.
Yes. Shall we see the profile makeover, since I already mentioned that?
That was a nice segue.
Please share my screen. Could you do that for me?
Good.
Okay. So this will be just a sneak peek of what this profile makeover will be, because Lynn Young is working on the profile of Carrie Ellen Lipsey, and she's her great-grandmother. She's been working on this profile since March for Women's Month, but now she will finish it, and I think she's not done yet, but I just wanted to show you what we will be seeing because it's amazing.
Gorgeous.
Look at that. Nice.
This is a gorgeous background photo. You see, it's kind of a fabric.
Yes,
right?
A tapestry, sort of. Yeah.
Yes, yes. The thing is, I will just show you this. This will give me a lot of work, I'm telling you, because see this table of contents.
Oh my
the biography.
goodness. Wow.
Yes,
Wow.
we have 13 chapters. Since all her life, all Carrie's life was divided into. You remember that Lynn was the first one that talked about the contextual research. Well, she gives a whole context to the life of Carrie, and we can see, for instance, we have the fire, flu, and war. The war to end all wars. So we know what she's talking about, the Great Depression, after World War II. So I know what this will be like. You can see, well, I will just show you this. I don't think it's ready because she hasn't said that. But, we can see a lot of work yet.
Amazing.
So, yes. So, Lynn, when you're ready, you tell me, and I will take the whole week to read this, like a book. It's an amazing book. It's a great way to honor your great-grandmother. And we already have some pictures here.
Nice.
Yeah. So I'm waiting for this. And remember I told you I kind of partnered up with the Kentucky project with Lucas Murphy.
Yes. Yeah.
So he promised that I could show those makeovers. So I will show you one. This one was made. I think this is M. Meredith. I think M goes for Margaret.
Yes.
If I'm right. Well. She cleaned and improved her maternal grandmother's profile, and she also did more, her great-great-grandmother and her sisters. But I will show you just the great-grandmother's profile. That's Mary Ada Woods. And we also see a great background photo. We don't have the before because this is not the usual profile makeover, so we have no photos of the before, but you know the trick. You can go here to the profile change history, and we can see extensive changes made to this profile since May. So Margaret edited the biography, she added the background image, she edited the primary photo, and she changed, this is important when you do a makeover, she changed the privacy level, because if this wasn't public, we couldn't see this profile.
Right.
Yes. Although it's her great-grandmother, it should be open.
Yeah.
But so, let's go back to the profile and see this work. Well, I like how the census tables look.
Yes.
I really loved it, but I'm seeing something new here. Well, Ada was born, I didn't read that. She was born in 1904 in Paducah, Kentucky, United States.
Paducah.
Oh, thank you. Well, remember, this is the Kentucky project, so she's from Kentucky. And there are stickers. She was a Kentuckian, Missourian, and Arkansan. And look at this table. Since we have stickers here, it is cut off. Thank you. And there's a sliding bar here to see it completely. I've never seen this on a profile.
Me neither.
And I thought maybe this is because of the zoom that I'm using.
Yeah.
No.
But
because of the stickers.
Yes. Yeah. If I zoom out, I can also see the So it's it adapts to the Zoom that you are using. So it's great. That is responsive, right?
Oh, Vicky, Murray suggests use clear before table. Thanks, Murray.
What that does is that forces it to go down to give it space from the images that are hanging out.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes, that is a good trick. Yeah.
That's a good one. Yeah.
Yeah, and usually we don't see census tables so
early
to the
in
beginning,
the profile, right? Yeah.
Right. Yeah, we're not used to that, but
yeah.
Well, it was a new thing.
No, it's good.
And I thought I would share. So there are a lot of sources based on the census, and I really like seeing sources organized tables. But I was missing something about her life because it's Mother's Month. So here it is. At the end, I found it. Well, here it is. Mary Ada Woods James enjoyed cooking for the Mark III Rotary Club, crocheting, making crafts, and spending time with her family. She crocheted many beautiful Afghans for family and friends, and she was also a fantastic cook. So that's perfect. Thank you so much for sharing all those details about her life. Well, thank you, Margaret. And we have photographs, a lot of photographs. You can see that here. She's with her whole family. We have newspaper clippings. This is where she lived, Wiona. This is the church where she lived. These are Christmas books. I don't know if they were hers. Maybe Margaret inherited these books. We have a lot of photographs and a lot of paper clippings. This is super nice. And we can see that here Ada is
95.
Completing her thankful card at Thanksgiving. That's a great info to add. And here she is with her husband. Well, a lot of nice photographs of her surrounded by family. That is their home. The husband again. And this is a super nice photograph. We don't know who that is. That is MMKM. Well, that's great.
Probably, yeah.
So thank you, Margaret, for sharing this makeover. Congrats to the Kentucky project. Well done. Yeah. So that's it. So I'm still waiting for more profile makeovers. We should have more. Everyone has a mother. Yes. So join.
Excellent.
Yeah.
Great. So I guess it's time for profiles of the week.
Woohoo!
And no shocker, it's about mothers.
Yay!
Who knew?
No, royal mothers. Be
royal
specific.
mothers.
Not any mother. Yeah.
Not any mother, not just any mother. Royal mothers. And so we have a whole bunch of them to go through. So that's very cool. Let me load up my own profile again so we can see. So my closest is Rose Bonaparte.
Yeah, mine too.
Is that yours, Clue? 17 degrees. What about you folks?
Oh, mine is 12.
You're 12. Oh, right. You
I'm
have that
12.
special French connection.
Yeah. The royal connection.
The royal connection. Yeah.
The royal card.
Yeah.
Yeah, mine is Margaret, Queen of Scots, 19 degrees. Tied with Victoria Hanover, also 19 degrees.
Okay, so I'm actually closer than you. Often you actually have a much closer one. So that's interesting. Denise, who's your closest?
No, let's go out to the 20s, please. Mine is, yeah, Oh, wait a minute. Rose Bonaparte, 17 degrees.
Oh, same as me.
Oh, well.
Yeah.
Yes.
Everybody else is between 25 and 32.
Ah, interesting.
Oh. Mm-hmm.
And
Ravonda, I also have. Oh, sorry.
My closest is Rose, but she's 18.
18. Wow. And I also have Victoria Hanover and Marie Antoinette at 17.
Oh.
Wow. So they're all close.
Yeah. Now, we have the very closest are right here, Rose Tascher and Marie Antoinette, because of the Habsburg connection there. Yeah, only 5 steps away from each other. But unlike last week, where they were all nice and clustered together, there is quite a bit more distance from one to the other. So we will start now. Yeah, and people are putting in who their closest is. That's excellent.
Yeah.
So what was you said you were 12?
Yes,
Vicky?
12.
Okay. Yes. Can anyone get closer than 12 degrees in the chat?
Beat Vicky.
Vicky going to be the winner. Yeah. So I got to say, before I even start, this was a really neat section, cross section of mothers. It's a very global one. We're going all around the globe with the mothers this week. And many of them have very challenging names to pronounce. So like they tried to make it more interesting for me to cover them all. So I will do my best for that. But we're starting off with Eleanor of Aquitaine. Eleanor de Aquitaine, managed, of course, by the Medieval Project, because look at her birth date, 1124, or around 1124.
Wow.
In France. Died on March 31st, 1204, at about the age of 80. And she is my direct 26th great-grandmother.
No surprise there.
No surprise there.
Wow.
But I'm wondering, is she anyone else's direct grandmother in either here in the panel or in the chat? She's Azure. Azure has beat me. She's closer. She's her 24th grandmother. Let's
wow.
Yes. Okay. So you're 2 generations closer, Azure.
Well, she's 26 from me, and I thought there would be a whole variety of marriages, but there's just one marriage. That's interesting.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah. Wow.
That is interesting. Yeah.
Yeah.
And Mel sadly says she's not related to anyone. Aww. But you must be connected, even if you're not directly related as a cousin.
I'm never related, but connected.
You're connected. Okay. Okay. So Azure's also sharing we share a great. There we go. So Eleanor of Aquitaine was a Duchess of Aquitaine, Queen Consort of France for a number of years, from 1137 to 1152, and also Queen Consort of England from 1154 to 1189. So she was Queen of France and Queen of England, but never at the same time. Interesting, eh? The older daughter, of course, of Guillaume d'Aquitaine and Eleanor de Châtellerault. Probably born, so they give a range there of when she was probably born. Places uncertain, of course. Places suggested are Nueil-sur-Antise in the Vendée, or the Château de Belin in Guyenne, which is part of Aquitaine, or the Palais d'Ombrières in Bordeaux, which is also in Aquitaine. She's named as the daughter of Guillaume and Eleanor in a charter, an official document in 1130. So her father passed away in 1137, and leaving her to be the heir to vast parts of France centered on the Duchy of Aquitaine. Normally, like the French way to pronounce that would be Aquitaine, but I'll just say Aquitaine because most people know it these days. She also had a claim on the county of Toulouse, which both her husbands attempted to make good use of course. So in the Cathedral of Bordeaux in July of 1137, she was married to Louis VII of France. Little disagreement about the exact date of their marriage, but it's just a matter of a few days, depending on the document that you read. And of course, we're all familiar with that concept. That happens all the time with our documents. The death records say, well, they were born on this day. A census says they were born, a few days later, or a different month, or a different year. So those things happened even way back then. They traveled. She took part in the or at least traveled during the Second Crusades. They came back. She was captured by the Greek and then rescued. Rejoined her husband. Then apparently she and her first husband did not get along, and their marriage was formally dissolved. The official reasoning being consanguinity, which means that they were married, they were too closely related. I mean, that could have been an excuse for many of a royal marriage back then and since. So it's just sort of a convenient excuse to dissolve the marriage. And then, of course, she a few years later, she found herself married again to another king, this time the future Henry II. And again, they can't confirm whether she was married in Poitiers Cathedral or Bordeaux Cathedral. They didn't give an exact marriage place. She was crowned a Queen of England, though, in Westminster Abbey in 1154. List of children that many of them became kings in their own right. You can see Henry, her son Henry, was a young king. Richard became King Richard I, and other royalty came from there. The profile goes into more detail about her life and her children's reign, as of course, because she was still part of her children's life and part of helping to advise the throne. She passed away in 1204, either at Poitiers or at the Fontfroid Abbey in Anjou, and buried next to Henry II and Richard I. Her children, or the second. Henry II was her second husband. Yeah. Yes, and Richard was one of her sons. Yeah. So there we have a very full life of someone from long ago who was very prolific and important. The next one is Al-Yassin al-Abdullah. Okay, so Rania al-Yassin was born on August 31st in 1970 in, and I can't read where that place is.
Okay.
Thought it said the place in English, but I don't know. I suspect it's in Jordan, though. She married King Abdullah II of Jordan in 1993 at the Zahran Palace, and they have 4 children. She's actually, Queen Rania, has actually written 3 children's books. I think that's very cool. Sandwich Swap, The King's Gift, and Eternal Beauty. So she's still a living notable, born in the 70s. Lovely picture of her there, and very cool. I'm not sure if this is the first Jordanian profile that we've covered on the Profiles of the Week.
Yeah, it could be.
I think it might be. What's really cool about this profile, I find it interesting, there'll be a few others. We'll see different scripts just embedded as part of the profile, included in the name, like in the official areas as well. So I think that's kind of neat. Yeah, that we're able to be that global. If you look at her ancestors here, we just actually in fact have her father, and he was born in Palestine.
Is she connected to the big tree?
Is she connected to the big tree? Let's see if I go back to
24 degrees. Yeah.
Well, if we have number of degrees that were apart from her, then she must be.
Yeah, there's a 24 at the top to you, Greg.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
That's right. Mm-hmm. So, very neat. Next, we have. It looks like it's reloading all of them. Marie-Joseph Rose Taché de la Prairie Bonaparte, born in 1763 in Les Trois-Îlets, Martinique, which is a French colony, and passed away at the age of 50 in Malmaison in Île-de-France, in France. And here we have now this profile actually is set up a little differently. Widow of Alexandre de Beauharnais, first and also the first wife of Napoleon. So Marie-Joseph Rose, you may not recognize that name, but you may. She went often by Josephine, the wife of Napoleon Bonaparte. So that's probably who you know her more familiar as. But our first husband was actually Alexandre de Beauharnais. They had two children, Eugène and a daughter, Hortense. Those are her only children. Unfortunately, the marriage was not a happy one, and the first husband abandoned her family for over a year. But then she was married to Napoleon. Her first husband had been guillotined during the Reign of Terror. So during the French Revolution, the Reign of Terror, not a good time to be alive and royal or rich. So yeah, he was guillotined, and she was imprisoned in the prison for 5 days after his execution. But then she married Napoleon II, and nearly killed in a plot on his life bomb. When he declared himself Emperor of the French, he crowned her as Empress Josephine at Notre Dame. Sadly, she did not remain married to Napoleon because she did not bear him any children, and so he had their marriage annulled in 1810. And then he married Marie-Louise of Austria. So that was rather a nasty move on his part.
Well, he was a nasty little man.
He was a nasty little man.
Little.
Emphasis on little. But the profile actually does say that even though he did officially divorce her so that he could marry someone else and have a legitimate heir to the throne, there are sort of rumors that he actually still did love her, because when she passed away in 1814, for 2 days he locked himself in his room, refusing to see anyone. So
yes,
so he may have loved her. Funny way of showing it, but yeah. Anyways, so there we have Consort of the French, Queen Consort of Italy, First Lady of Italy. So these are all titles that she would have gained as Empress until they were divorced. Then we have Victoria Gurama Campbell. So Princess Victoria Gurama was the daughter of Chika Virajendra, who was the last ruler of Kadagu, which was part of where nowadays India. Her father was exiled, though, because his kingdom had been taken over by the British East India Company. And so he was exiled. She traveled to Britain as a child and then baptized into Christianity. In fact, became the goddaughter of Queen Victoria. Interestingly. And then she later married Lieutenant Colonel John Campbell and had one daughter. Sadly, she died at the young age of 22. And there's a picture of her. Princess Victoria Gurama. Next, we have Maria Antonia Josepha Johanna Habsburg Lothringen d'Autriche.
Okay.
That was her official name when she was born in Oostenrijk unter der Grens in the Heiliges Römisches Reich. But you may know her more familiar as Marie Antoinette. But she was one of many children of Maria Theresia and Francois Lorraine, emperor and empress, or from Austria, head of the Austria-Hungary Empire. She was an Austrian archduchess in the House of Habsburg-Lorraine, and she was born in Habsburg Palace in Vienna, Austria, the youngest daughter of Empress Maria Theresia and Francis, who was named the Holy Roman Emperor at the time. She loved her mother, who referred to as Little Madame Antoine. They had a difficult relationship. So interesting. We're celebrating Mother's Day, and they had a difficult mother-daughter relationship. She was raised together with her sister, mostly under the care of her governess. Interesting. There's an interesting tidbit here. I read the profile. She met Wolfgang Amadeus Mozart at the Palace of Schönbrunn, which was in Vienna, which is very cool. And what's even cooler is we visited that palace, and in fact, part of the tour was the room where Mozart she met him, and he played for her mother, the Empress Maria Theresa.
Wow.
So that room. I was there.
Rick Cleland says you've been practicing your German. Well, you actually were there, so
I was actually there. Yes.
Yeah.
And I have been practicing my German on Duolingo, and I was actually able to use it in the wild to get directions.
In the wild.
Hey. It's paying off.
Yes. And order food.
Right.
So
yes. It's perfect.
So there we go. It works. So that's very cool. So she met Amadeus. And then of course she was engaged to married to King Louis XV of France. And just like many of her siblings who were married off to various royal families, and that's how the Habsburgs consolidated their power, by doing a lot of political machinations and alliances through various families. And you look at all these siblings that she had, and I think there was more than 7. I thought there was 12 siblings altogether. But I could be wrong on that, but I thought there were.
Could you read all the names? No, I'm joking. I'm joking. They're so long.
There's so many of them. Anyways, of course, she was married to King Louis of France and Marie Antoinette. But of course, we all know that she had a sad ending.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. There's nice. Sure, there. Moving on, Grace Patricia Kelly of Monaco. Grace Kelly, American actress who became the Princess of Monaco following her marriage to Prince Rainier III in 1956. Born in Philadelphia, 1929, to a wealthy and prominent family. Her father was a successful businessman, civic leader, Olympic gold medalist in rowing, sculling specifically. Her mother was the first woman to coach women's athletics at the University of Pennsylvania, and was so that's a neat first as well. She also had 3 siblings, raised Catholic in the Philadelphia East Falls neighborhood, and she, with the help of her uncle, she enrolled in the Academy of Dramatic Arts, went into acting, starred in High Noon with Gary Cooper, did lots of work with Alfred Hitchcock, Dial M for Murder, Rear Window, Catch a Thief, went on to do High Society, which was a musical remake of the Philadelphia Story. In 1955, she met Prince Rainier of Monaco at the Cannes Film Festival, and they courted for a year, then married in 1956. Their marriage had to be a civil ceremony as well as a grand church wedding. They had to do both for it to be legit. And of course, her wedding gown was designed by MGM's Helen Rose. So it's kind of neat, relying on her film career connections to get her wedding done. And it was televised in 1956, that wedding. And of course, she had 3 children, I believe. Princess Carolyn, Prince Albert, and Princess Stephanie. Sadly, she passed away from a car accident. Apparently, she had suffered a mild cerebral hemorrhage while she was driving, lost control of the car. It plunged over a cliff, and she died of results of injuries from that. Luckily, her daughter, who was with her, only had minor injuries. So her funeral was attended by many people, including Cary Grant, Nancy Reagan, Princess Diana. Some greats there too. And look at her. She's beautiful.
Yes.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I remember my mom really had a soft spot for Grace Kelly. Yeah. Then we have Queen Victoria. Alexandrina Victoria Hanover, born 1819 in Kensington Palace, passed away at the age of 81 in the year 1901. So 81. 81's not that old. When you consider how old her great-granddaughter Elizabeth lived till, you know.
Yeah.
But of course, famous, of course, for being monarch of the United Kingdom and Great Britain. And look at this. So she became the monarch in 1837 till 1901. So huge, long reign, of course. We've talked about Queen Victoria many times, but as a wife and a mother, she hated being pregnant, but and this is actually in the profile. She hated being pregnant, but she loved all her children. So it was, I guess, it was always worth it in the end. But having to suffer through that was not her favorite thing. But here's a nice picture of her with the family, with her kids. They had 9 children altogether.
So that's a lot of times. That's 81.
I know. She loved her children dearly once they arrived. Once they arrived is the trick. Yeah. Anyways, lovely profile. Nice things. There's a sort of an iconic picture of Queen Victoria herself. And what am I looking at here? This is her. Oh, yes. This is her Queen Victoria's fan chart. Okay. And so that goes up to, so there's great-great-grandparents. And there are no repeats in the great-great-grandparent line, but we only have to go one more generation. And then we start to see some coloring, because that's how the fan chart displays double pedigrees. And then one more, then we can see, look at that. There we go.
Yeah.
Okay.
Interesting.
And then you can see that this couple here, the dark green and the blue, that's the same as this couple here. Yeah. That couple's the same as this couple, because of the color coding, right? So yeah, you go back, but they weren't super close. At least it wasn't in the inner circle that you had the color. It could have been worse. Emma. Okay. Now we're getting into the hard to pronounce ones. Emma Kaleleonalani Nea, from the Kingdom of Hawaii, born in 1836, passed away in 1885 at the age of 49 in Honolulu. So Emma was born on January 2nd, 1830 in Nuuanu, Oahu, in the Kingdom of Hawaii, to Fanny Kekelaukalani and George Naia. And she was raised in a largely British household. Her uncle was British, and her education was British. She married Alexander Liholiho, King Kamehameha IV. And so she, as king and queen, they were invited to the Church of England to begin a missionary in Hawaii. But Queen Victoria went a step further and declared that Hawaii was its own bishopric. So they weren't, subservient to some other archdiocese. They were their own bishopric, which is a big deal. And anyway, so she became the queen, and she's the Queen of Hawaii. she campaigned against Colonel David Kaluakua, disagreeing with his pro-American position, but when she lost, she did offer her support to King Kalakaua after he did win. Sadly, she suffered a series of strokes, spent her life fulfilling the role of the Hawaiian matriarch, greatly loved by the Hawaiian people, devoting her life to bettering the lives of all those people. And what was I find interesting is she left the majority of her estate in a trust to the Queen's Hospital and scholarships for schools that she helped fund. So that was neat. Yeah. And now we go to we're sticking in that ocean, just going a little further. I guess it's further west, but crossing the international date lines, coming around the other side, right? To New Zealand. And we have talked about this person before. Te Atairangi Kaua from Kroko Mahuta Paki from New Zealand. Born in Wahipa, Rahui Pokeka, Waikato, New Zealand. And she was reigned as the first Maori queen from 1966 until her death in 2006. Pikimene Koroko Mahuta was known from birth as Piki, born at Wahipaha on the Waikato River. Interesting, her birth was an occasion marked by a shooting star, apparently.
Very poetic.
Yes. When she was only 2 years old, her father succeeded to her grandfather's throne and became the king of the Maori, and grew up around the Wahipa settlement, or leader of the. She was guided by her great aunt. At age, she went to the Waikato Diocesan School for Girls, where she boarded there. In 1953, Queen Elizabeth II and the Duke of Edinburgh visited New Zealand, and she invited them into her place. The prince invited the Queen and the Duke to enter, which they agreed to, which hadn't originally been on the schedule that they were to go in and meet her. And she led them in. Her father sort of fell back and let her sort of lead that, and it was seen as a signal that he endorsed that she was going to be his heir apparent. The fact that he let her sort of take charge of that little visit.
Yeah.
When her father passed away a few years later, in 1966, she accepted the title Queen of the Maori, and she took on the name of her mother, Te Atairangi Kau, who had died the year before. And she became the Queen of the Maori. And there's a picture of her during the coronation or princess.
Nice.
Yeah. Here's a picture of the two queens, Queen Elizabeth and Queen Atairangi, which is neat.
Can't see their hands. I wonder if they're holding hands.
Oh,
that kind of looks like it.
Yeah, it does look like it. They're pretty close. Yeah.
Huh.
Neat. Then we have Tenagnagork Haile Selassie, born in Harargega province in Ethiopia. Again, we don't get many profiles from Africa, and here we have one queen in Ethiopian royalty, born in 1912, passed away at the age of 91 in 2003 in Addis Ababa in Ethiopia. Tenagnagork Haile Selassie is an Ethiopian princess, the daughter of Emperor Haile Selassie. When she was born, her name was Fikirta Mariam on the 12th of January. And then she married Ras Desta Damtu. They had 2 sons and 4 daughters. Apparently she was captured during the Italian invasion, her husband was captured during the invasion. And her family was put while the family was in exile, leaving the princess as a widow. And then she married Ras Andargachu Masai after they returned to Ethiopia. and her father was restored as the emperor. And so she is a princess. When the monarchy was overthrown, she spent 15 years in prison, sadly, and then left to settle in the United States after she was released. Returned to Ethiopia in 1999 and died there in 2003. Then we have Margaret, Queen of Scots, but not that Queen of Scots. This one was born in Denmark in 1456, passed away at the young age of 30 in Stirling Castle in Scotland. She was the only daughter of Christian I, King of Denmark, Norway, and Sweden. He was also the Duke of Schleswig-Holstein, the Count of Oldenburg and Delmenhorst, and Dorothea is her mother, who was the Margravine of Brandenburg. She was married to James III, who was the King of Scots, and when she was only 13 years old, and her husband, James III, had just celebrated his 18th birthday. So obviously it was sort of a political / financial wedding, because part of that Scotland's debt was completely written off. The King of Denmark agreed to pay 60,000 florins for the dowry. And also the Shetlands were given to Scotland as part of that deal. So that's interesting. They had 3 children, but she passed away at the young age of 30. So I'm thinking, this is Queen of Scots. I wonder how she's related to Mary, Queen of Scots. Turns out she's her great-granddaughter. So, so this Queen of Scots is the great-grandmother of the famous Mary, Queen of Scots. And the last profile is Empress Emerita Michiko, who was the wife of Emperor Emeritus Akihito and the mother of Naruhito, the current reigning emperor of Japan. Born in 1934, she attended school in Tokyo-fu, later Tokyo-to, left during the bombing raids of World War II, and then returned in 1946, got a Bachelor of Arts degree. In 1957, she married Akihito when he was the Crown Prince of Japan on a tennis court. Interesting place for a wedding to take place. But maybe that's, maybe, you know, a tennis, if you think about it, maybe a tennis course is the perfect place, because if the people can see from the bleachers a lot better. Because if you think of, you know, in a big cathedral, that altar is pretty far away. And, you know, unless you're up on the choir loft, it's pretty hard to see what's happening from the back pews. Yeah. So, so maybe that's a neat idea. They're formally engaged in January and got married in April. So that's pretty quick. Anyways, the death of her father-in-law, Hirohito, the crown princess became the empress consort of Japan, with her husband becoming the emperor. When he abdicated in 2019, she received the title of Empress Emerita. And she is born in the 30s. She is still living notable. So that's what we have. Again, another one where we see the different script, which is and if you look at her family tree, it's all full of that script, which very cool. And those are your profiles of the week.
Wow. Yay.
There we go.
Now you have to have some water.
Yeah.
After all those, all those names. Wow, it's so global.
Yes, it's very neat. It's very neat that it was very global and stuff. So yeah. So let's see what's happening this week. Anything happening this week?
It's all about our mothers.
It's all about our mothers. Well, we have, as you mentioned earlier, it is Mother's Month. So all of those mothers challenges are still ongoing. So there's lots of opportunity to celebrate mothers.
Yes.
Do more profiles of the profile makeovers, and you can always go and answer the question of the week. We don't shut down those G2G posts, so people can add more to that as well. Coming up this week, the one name study is Lodico, or Lodico. I'm not sure where the accent would go there. Newtelberg in West Virginia is the one place study on Wednesday. And we're talking about the Appalachia Project on Thursday when we profile project. There'll be a Discord party on Thursday night for Appalachia, the Appalachia group. Thursday night, Denise, you doing something special on Zoom?
Yes, I am. I'm doing Q&A. Anybody with questions, come on. We'll try to answer them.
Excellent, excellent. And is there a chat this afternoon?
For
a new members chat?
No, we had one actually. Well, for me, it was last night. It was about 12 hours ago for our Australian friends.
Okay.
And then I'm doing another one on Monday evening, 8 p.m. Eastern U.S. time.
Okay.
Yep.
Okay.
And that's definitely for the newts.
The newts.
Yes.
Right.
Yes. No question is too basic ever.
Right. That's right. Okay. I just asking because it looks like Anne Fiordalise is mentioning something about 1 p.m. today. But I'm not sure what she's referring to.
So and that was Australian time.
Australian
which was about 12 hours. 12 hours.
12 hours ago. Yeah. Okay. And then there's a sweet tea party on Zoom for the Appalachia Project, which sounds very cool. So lots of Appalachia stuff happening as well. And of course, you can check out Into the Blog Sphere, the post that Chris Friolo does as well. It's the 15-2 Ancestors. Lots of different stuff happening this week. So I think that's about it. Thanks, everyone.
And we'll see you next Monday, Saturday. Sorry.
We'll see you next Saturday. Thank you, Ravonda, for joining us.
Sure.
Yes, it was great to meet you.
Happy Mother's Day to all the moms.
Happy Mother's Day to everyone.
Enjoy your weekend.
Yeah. Take care, everyone.
Okay.
Bye-bye.